From an objective top-down stance, you got to look at the victims of rape, incest, and an already overburdened foster care system that can't handle these people.
That's why I'm agnostic.
Why are you caring about hypothetical children when there are actual children right now dying at the border, dying in fucking Gaza?
These are actual children. Don't discriminate.
They will become people.
No, they're people right now. They're people in the womb. Don't discriminate. Because everybody has to live. Everybody has to live through the stages of life in the womb as part of the normal process of growing as a human, right? It's just the normal process of growing as a human requires. No, not at all. Well, I mean, everything's religious, so. But it's just basic scientific facts that everybody needs to live inside the body of their mother before they can do anything else. What?
No, come on, let me ask you.
People need to take care of. People need to take care of them.
What plan is there to handle these kids once they're born? What plan is there?
Parenthood? Have you not heard of Parenthood?
Is there any social, fucking plan?
It's called people being good parents. People are supposed to take care of their own kids.
What about the incidents of rape?
That's a water bottle.
It's called you shall not
People
murder,
to stick around.
you put the rapist to death.
Well, then people need to step in and adopt children.
That's why you have the Christians.
We already have kids to fucking adopt.
And these children need to be adopted as well. But we should ultimately push people being good parents. That's what we should push the most.
I don't discount that. That's absolutely true.
Right. So we need to teach people to be good parents when their children are in the womb.
Down to a religious, sort of implementing your beliefs on other people.
Well, I mean, that's the job.
Somebody's going to follow your morality.
Well, God has written the work of His law on everybody's heart, so everybody knows at a basic level what morality is because God gave them a conception of it.
There are conceptions of morality.
Right, but they're wrong. They're in rebellion against God. There's only one standard for morality.
That's a fucking ignorant belief.
So how do you know what's true? So how do you know what's ignorant and what's not ignorant? How do you know what's true and what's not true?
On the basis of scientific fact, on the basis of philosophy, on the basis of secular morality.
Well, how do you know it exists in the first place? How do you know that I exist right now and that you're not talking to yourself?
Two lies and you're speaking so I can hear you with my
Well, how do you
which are the five objective truths of scientific sense?
How do you know that's not a giant illusion?
Could be.
You're putting blind faith in your own consciousness. You're putting blind faith in your own consciousness.
Study. It's about what we observe.
Right, and you can't know that that's the true nature of reality if you're trusting in finite limited consciousness that for all you know is deceiving you.
I don't know.
So how do you know that you're perceiving reality correctly right now? Okay, then how do you make statements about what's true?
I don't discount that there could be something outside of our conception. However, there is no objective truth or proof behind that notion. There's no proof.
There's no proof for what?
For anything beyond our human consciousness, any plane beyond our.
Are you sure about
that? So then.
I'm absolutely sure about that, and the story of that kid who supposedly died and went to heaven is bullshit.
So how do you? So when you talk about science, why are you talking about science if you can't justify any belief about scientific experiments? Because they could be illusions in your consciousness, right?
I'm a fucking mechanical engineer. My job is to study science.
But how can you trust what's going on in your consciousness if you're not trusting in the all-knowing consciousness of God?
That's a completely separate thing.
No, but the scientific experiments, but it's all joined together. How do you know that the experiments you're perceiving with your consciousness actually exist?
Do you know what research is?
You're putting blind faith in your own finite consciousness instead of putting faith in what God says. No, I'm saying if you put faith in a worldview in which the only type of consciousness is limited, then you can't justify any belief about anything.
What are we talking about right now? You don't believe the best for you people.
So let me explain it.
Women's rights away. So
no, let me explain. So we put our faith.
This is a fucking
This
is some cynical shit by Republicans manipulating you fucking people and your good hearts to try and fucking take away women's rights.
But with your own worldview, you can't justify your belief that we exist. So why are you even talking to us? Because you can't even know that we exist. But you're trusting in finite consciousness that doesn't know everything, so you could always be wrong about what you think is true, right?
Okay, this is going to
you said there's no objective reality beyond our consciousness.
There's no proof of that. I don't discount that notion.
Right.
I'm just saying.
So then, how do you prove anything? How do you prove anything?
There is no scientific proof of it.
There's no scientific proof of what?
Anything beyond our human conception and beyond our human brains.
That's what we're
So how do you have scientific proof for anything?
That's
because
all we
it's
have.
the study of optics. It's what we can observe with our fucking senses.
But how do you know that senses exist? How do you know that people exist? How do you know that people are doing experiments? That could, for all you know, that's a giant illusion in a consciousness. Maybe you're the only consciousness that exists. How do you know that you're How do you know that you're not the only consciousness that exists?
Bro, it's okay to not know whether or not reality is what you're perceiving it as. It's okay to be wrong, and it's okay to learn and grow from it.
So it's okay to put beliefs in things without justification. That's not knowledge.
Wait, no,
so it's so ridiculous to put it's ridiculous to put faith in things that you can't justify. So if you believe that I exist right now, that's putting faith in my existence.
I don't necessarily believe you exist.
Okay, then why are you talking to me right now?
Because that's all I have. That's what my consciousness is.
So you're putting faith in in the fact that I have the ability to respond to you. That's why you're talking to me.
I'm playing a game, and I am experiencing a reality in which you are talking back to me. Whether or not that's the case, whether or not we're in a big supercomputer, it doesn't matter. I don't know what type of midlife crisis shit you're talking about, but whether or not that's the case, I'm still limited to my conscious experience, and I'm acting on it.
Well, you don't know that conscious experience is even a stream of consciousness that lasts more than a nanosecond.
That's true.
So as you talk to me, you're putting faith in the belief that I will. Okay, so you don't believe that I exist when you're talking to me right now?
I don't necessarily presuppose to exist, no.
I would assume so.
Then why do you keep talking to me?
Because I'm experiencing this maybe nanosecond of reality where we're having a conversation.
Every right.
Well, so you say I, right? So how do you know that any consciousness exists long enough to say to even comprehend the concept of I or say the word I? How do you know that consciousness lasts more than a nanosecond?
I don't know that.
Then why do you keep saying I? Why do you keep saying I? Why do you keep saying I? Why do you keep saying I?
Because I am choosing to entertain something, whereas you're relying on putting faith in a reality that you don't even know exists.
No. You're putting faith in the concept of I existing.
Do you believe your consciousness is limited?
Right, but I trust in a worldview in which I get revelation from the all-knowing being. So I don't have the same worldview as you.
Limited to your conscious experience, though.
Right, but it's informed by the unlimited consciousness.
It's informed by what you're perceiving, just like I'm perceiving.
But you're not putting faith in unlimited consciousness. I am. That's the difference between us.
You're putting faith in your conscious experience to intake information about a God or a higher power. So you are also just defaulting to your conscious experience. We're the same, except you're choosing to put faith in something, whereas I'm not.
No. We both put faith in something, but my worldview involves omniscience revealing to non-omniscience what's true. Your worldview doesn't have omniscience in it. That's why you can't justify any beliefs. So our worldviews are very different. I can justify my beliefs because I'm appealing to omniscience. You're appealing to finite consciousness that for all you know could be deceiving you.
So you're referring to an objective reality, but your religion is based on subject reality.
No, it's based on the objective reality that God reveals things to us.
But that's a subjective take. So you're not able to have
I'm putting faith in the objective reality that God has revealed to us.
Subjective reality, where you can presuppose that everything is objective. That's super easy for you.
That's a stupid argument.
So
The reason I say that is because everyone is a subjective observer.
I don't know, man.
If I subjectively observe something,
Come on.
it doesn't mean that it's not objectively real. Because my observation
you are not the subject
is subjective.
of this shit.
Because you can observe the same thing as this brick on the ground. You vote, I perceive it.
I'm not sure that that's the case.
Well, I mean, okay. So this brick, let's assume this brick this brick isn't here.
We're assuming that we're perceiving the same thing, but we don't necessarily know if that's the case.
it's called faith. You're putting faith in it. You're using faith. Everybody uses faith. Knowledge is defined as justified true belief. Belief is the same thing as faith.
So you're choosing faith to believe in your God. But if you were to say, I entertain the thought that my God could not exist, you would never say that. I entertain that every day. I assume my conscious experience, but entertain the fact that it could not exist. You cannot do that with your higher power. I can do that all the time.
So you put faith in finite consciousness that for all you know could be deceiving you.
No, because what you're describing as faith, you don't describe as your own faith. Because faith in your God means that you have to live a reality where you presuppose that your God exists and you don't question it.
If God didn't exist, I couldn't be justified in any belief that I have.
Well, yeah, arguing you're also. Well, it's kind of you're
so many
establishing
people
sort of a false
they
dichotomy.
believe that
you can
life or truth is subjective.
you know, either I, as a subject,
No, you all said that.
don't believe in God, or I do believe in God. But I actually don't think that the issue is kind of, it's disjoint. I don't know exactly what you're arguing.
I'm not making that dichotomy at all. Actually, I'm arguing for the absence of that dichotomy.
I don't have animosity.
The choice that either we believe in a God or we do not doesn't really matter, right? It's the way we choose to function. Now, I function on the basis that
what's the purpose of what's the point of this whole argument?
You are not the subject.
This guy came in saying about this certain topic. So you can't be like, so now what's the point of talking about it?
So you're right. Why do you keep talking to me if you can't justify the belief that I exist?
Because something that's happening in this conversation provides me with whatever feeling that I'm experiencing.
And so you keep putting faith in my existence. That's why you keep talking to me. So you don't believe I exist? Why do you keep talking to me?
I don't necessarily presuppose that you exist.
Well, then why did you just talk to me? Do you believe either you believe that I exist or you believe that I don't exist? Which one is it? It's one of the two. Either you don't believe or you do believe. Which one is it? Do I exist or not exist?
I'll say this: the basic principle of scientific thinking means that you have to entertain the idea that you're wrong about something. Your mentality puts you in a position. Yes, you do.
You don't have to assume you're wrong about something.
Yeah, you have to assume you could be wrong about something.
No, you don't.
That's what thought is.
You don't have to do that. Why would you have to do that?
Then you will never discover any idea worth thinking
You guys are talking about.
You will never, ever discover something that will gratify you in your entire life if you don't entertain the fact that you could be wrong.
Well, you don't have any basis of justifying any belief in your own worldview.
The fact that your God could be wrong.
You can't even know what's right or wrong in your own worldview. You can't even know if something exists or doesn't exist.
What is right now?
The Bible was telephone game for thousands of years in oral tradition before it became a book.
Incorrect.
Modified by goddamn Europeans.
Incorrect.
You're reading a book that's been telephone game over thousands of years.
Incorrect.
Why do you believe that?
It wasn't written by Europeans. Versions of it were.
Why do you believe that?
That was so bizarre.
Do you know the Middle East was Christian before Europe was? The whole Middle East was Christian? Okay, if you're going into Abrahamic faiths, I know the Muslim or the Islam sort of stemmed off of like Abrahamic faiths as a whole. I'm aware of that.
But what the point is that your claims are fallacious. You're making fallacious
What, you're making
claims.
a logical fallacy argument? How is my logic fallacious?
Because you're simply saying things.
So Justin, how do you?
I'm saying things that my life experience has assured me is true.
So you reject God, right? So
I
by
grew
what
up Christian.
standard?
I don't reject the notion of God.
By what
However,
standard?
I can say there is no. I have not seen scientific evidence that there is anything beyond our own minds.
Can I give it
There's
to you?
no argument.
Can I give it to you?
What?
What standard? By what standard? What standard are you based? What objective
By the standards of
standard
science?
are you
Through
basing
our
this on?
senses,
Science,
through what we can observe.
So you're using your subjective reasoning to make
not
objective
subjective.
claims.
Can I give you?
Okay,
Can
so
I give you?
you're
Can I give you
objective
scientific
fact
evidence?
and like the principle of optics
No, I'm
being
explaining
science.
to you that your whole worldview can't be justified without God. That you actually robbed from the Christian worldview.
What about
to
fucking
justify
philosophy?
yours.
So how do you know that other minds exist outside of your own mind? How do you justify that belief?
Mr. Matrix, I don't Neo.
No, I'm saying if we don't have revelation from the all-knowing being to tell us what's true, we're left with finite consciousness, and we can't justify any belief with that. So you shouldn't put faith in
Not the
that.
subject of the right that's being fucking taken away.
What right do you have to murder?
Oh, Amish over there?
That praise God for modesty, right?
Who has the right to murder?
No, it's not a fucking murder
Yes, it
argument.
is.
It's not a legal argument.
What is
Other
murder?
than the fact
What
that
is
the
murder?
fossils in the goddamn Supreme
What is
Court
murder?
overturned a super precedent.
What
All
is-
for
what is
some
murder?
cynical fucking Republican bullshit.
What is murder?
It's not a Republican issue. It's a love your
That's
neighbor issue.
okay, Mr. Talking Points.
I'm asking you
What
a
is
question.
that? What
is
did you just
murder?
say? That's a
What
fucking
is murder?
talking point.
You said it's not murder, so I'm asking you what murder is.
Okay, this is bullshit.
So you don't have an argument. You don't have any argument. You don't know what you're talking about,
You
basically.
don't even understand logic. That's the problem.
Can you answer what is murder?
I don't wish anything ill
Why do-
for
why
you
do you keep
guys.
taking Jesus'
Just
name in vain?
fuck
Yeah,
off.
why? Yeah, you don't wish any ill will, and then you do that.
Justin, that's not a good defense of your
hypocrisy.
worldview.
You just committed murder. According to Christ, you
That's
just
not a good
committed
defense.
murder.
A middle finger, Justin.
I have 3 degrees. I also have. No, my degrees are really valuable.
This is what they say is women's rights. You murdered women in the world.